I wrote that post as a beacon of hope, a silent promise that my heart still beats for you. Did you see my post? It's where I laid bare my fears, dreams, and everything in between. That post was a love song written in quiet moments, hoping you'd hear it in your own. I wrote that post because sometimes the truth lives best in vulnerability and raw emotion. Did you read my post? It was my heart's way of bridging the gap between us. That post holds the weight of unspoken words and the hope of new beginnings. I wrote that post hoping it would be a gentle reminder that you're not alone. Did you see my post? It's a window into my soul where you still have a place. That post was my way of saying, I forgive you. Even when forgiveness is the hardest gift. I wrote that post because sometimes healing starts with the courage to share your story. Did you read my post? It was my way of letting go without losing what made us special. That post was a silent tear, shed through words, hoping it would find your heart. I wrote that post hoping you'd see the love that never really left. Did you see my post? It was my heart's echo, calling out to the past and future. That post was my attempt to hold on to hope when everything else felt uncertain. I wrote that post because some feelings deserve to be honored, even in silence. Did you read my post? It was a message wrapped in courage, sent with love and longing. That post was my way of telling you, I'm still here, waiting patiently for a sign. I wrote that post hoping the words would be a balm to your wounded heart. Did you see my post? It was my soul's invitation to reconnect, to heal, to understand. That post was a quiet plea for honesty in a world that often hides behind masks. I wrote that post because sometimes the only way to be heard is through vulnerability. Did you read my post? It was my heart's song, full of hope, pain, and forgiveness. That post was my way holding on to the good memories while releasing the hurt. I wrote that post hoping it would remind you of the love that still lingers. Did you see my post? It was a silent prayer for healing and new beginnings. That post was a testament to resilience, to loving despite the scars. I wrote that post because some stories deserve a second chance to be told. Did you read my post? It was my way of saying, I'm still here, even when you're not. That post was a reflection of my deepest fears and highest hopes. I wrote that post hoping it would be a light in the darkness we both walked through. Did you see my post? It was a reminder that love sometimes looks like letting go. That post was my way of honoring what was while embracing what could be. I wrote that post because sometimes healing is found in the courage to be vulnerable. Did you read my post? It was my heart's invitation to forgiveness and understanding. Refuses to be forgotten. I wrote that post hoping you'd find comfort in the honesty of my words. Did you see my post? It was my soul reaching out across time, hoping you'd feel it. That post was a mirror, reflecting the love and pain we shared. I wrote that post because sometimes words are the only way to keep a connection alive. Did you read my post? It was a silent promise that my love remains, no matter the distance. That post was my way of saying goodbye gently, with respect and hope. I wrote that post hoping it would be a bridge between our past and future. Did you see my post? It was my heart's song of longing, hope, and healing. That post was a testament to the power of love, even when it's complicated. I wrote that post because some feelings refuse to fade quietly. Did you read my post? It was a message of love and resilience, sent with an open heart. That post was my way of saying, I'm still here. In the quiet moments you bailed out, or saying, I'm still here in the quiet moments you might miss. I wrote that post hoping it would bring us closer, even when words fail. Did you see my post? It was my soul's way of telling you that you matter. That post was a love letter written in the language of vulnerability. I wrote that post because sometimes the heart speaks loudest in silence. Did you read my post? It was a reminder that love's journey is never truly over. That post was my way of holding on to hope amidst the uncertainty. I wrote that post hoping it would heal the spaces where words once failed. Did you see my post? It was my heart's invitation to reconnect and heal. That post was a reflection of love's enduring power, even in separation. I wrote that post because some stories deserve to be told again and again. Did you read my post? It was a message of hope, forgiveness, and second chances. That post was my way of keeping our love alive, even when apart. I wrote that post hoping the words would reach you in a way my voice never could. Did you see my post? It's where I let my heart speak freely, without fear or hesitation. That post is a piece of my soul I dared to share. Just in case you were listening, I wrote that post because some emotions are too deep to hold inside. They need to be released. Did you read my post and wonder if it was about you? It was every single word. That post was my way of telling you that even in silence, I'm still here, thinking of you. I wrote that post for the moments when distance made words the only way to connect. Did you see my post? It's a quiet prayer, wrapped in text, hoping you'll find peace in it. That post was my confession, without saying a single word aloud, just hoping you'd understand. I wrote that post because sometimes the heart can only speak through written stories. Did you read my post? It's where I gave life to the feelings I couldn't say face to face. That post was a fragile bridge built with words, hoping you'd walk across it to me. I wrote that post because the truth sometimes hides best between the lines. Did you see my post? It was my way of telling you, you matter, even if we've lost touch. That post holds the quiet strength of a heart, refusing to let go. I wrote that post hoping you'd see the parts of me I don't show anyone else. Did you read my post? It was a gentle reminder that some love stories never truly end. That post was a map of my feelings, complex, tangled, but deeply real. I wrote that post because sometimes silence is too loud and words are the only way to calm it. Did you see my post? It was my way of saying, I'm still here, even if you've moved on. That post was my attempt to capture the bittersweetness of missing someone without blame. I wrote that post because some emotions deserve to be felt, not forgotten. Did you read my post? It's a quiet cry for connection in a world that often feels so disconnected. That post was a window into my heart, fragile, open, and waiting. I wrote that post hoping you'd find comfort in the honesty of my words. Did you see my post? It was my silent way of keeping you close, even from afar. That post was a reminder that sometimes love speaks loudest when it's whispered in writing. I wrote that post because even the strongest hearts need a place to break and heal. Did you read my post? It's a story about us. The parts we shared and the parts we lost. That post was my way of turning pain into something beautiful. Words that heal. I wrote that post, hoping it would reach you on a day you needed to hear it most. Did you see my post? It was my way of telling you I never stopped caring. That post holds the echoes of late nights when my thoughts wandered only to you. I wrote that post because sometimes love isn't enough, but words can carry hope. Did you read my post? It was my heart's way of opening a door to forgiveness. That post was a testament to the power of vulnerability shared through written word. I wrote that post hoping you'd see the real me, the parts I hide behind a smile. Did you see my post? It was a promise that no matter what, some connections last forever. That post was my way of saying goodbye softly, without bitterness or regret. I wrote post because sometimes letting go means speaking your truth even when... Did you read my post? It was my ways that shaped us. That post was a reminder that healing starts with honesty, with words that set us free. I wrote that post hoping it would be a light in your darkest moments. Did you see my post? It was my heart reaching out, hoping you'd catch it before it fell. That post was a quiet rebellion against forgetting, a vow to remember what we had. I wrote that post because some stories need to be told again and again until they heal. Did you read my post? It was my way of saying, I miss you, without fear, That post was a gentle touch, a reminder that love can still exist even in absence. I wrote that post hoping it would bring us closer, even when we're miles apart. Did you see my post? It was my heart's song, written just for you. That post was my way of showing that sometimes love speaks best in silence. I wrote that post because some feelings don't fade. They just change shape. Did you read my post? It was a love letter wrapped in words, sent across time and space. That post was my attempt to hold on to the moments before everything changed. I wrote that post hoping you'd understand that sometimes love is a quiet surrender. Did you see my post? It was my soul's way of asking for one more chance. That post was a reflection of my heart, open, honest, and hoping for healing. I wrote that post because sometimes words are the only way to keep memories alive. Did you read my post? It was a message to the future, hoping for peace between us. Did you see my post? I wrote it with you in mind, because sometimes words are the only way I know how to reach your heart. When I wrote that post, every sentence carried a piece of my soul, hoping you'd feel it even if you never say a word. I didn't write that post for everyone to read, only for you to understand what I couldn't say out loud. If you read my post and felt a sting, that's because it was meant to touch the places I know only you can reach. I poured my hidden thoughts into that post, hoping you'd finally see me the way I see you. Raw and real. That post wasn't just words. It was a silent confession, wrapped in digital ink, waiting for you to find it. I wrote that post, hoping you'd notice the cracks in my armor, the silent battles I fight every day. Sometimes the hardest thing is writing with someone in mind, hoping they read between the lines and hear the unsaid. My post is like a mirror. Look closely, and you'll see the reflection of everything I'm too scared to say face to face. I wrote that post not to change your mind, but to let you know I'm still here, still hoping. Every word in that post carries 1,000 memories. Some happy, some painful, all meant for you. I wrote "Make violence stay your mind" because silence became too heavy and the only way out was through words. Did you see my post? It's a quiet plea for connection in a world where we often feel so distant. When I wrote that post, I was hoping you'd feel the weight of my heart tucked between the lines. That post wasn't just a message. It was a moment of vulnerability, an invitation to understand me better. I wrote that post because sometimes you have to let the world see your scars to heal them. Did you read my post? It was my way of shouting softly, hoping you'd hear my heart over the noise. Every word I wrote was a step toward honesty, hoping you'd walk that path with me, even if just a little. My post is not about blame or regret, it's about hope. Even when everything feels lost, I wrote that post with trembling hands and a restless heart, hoping you'd catch the sincerity behind every phrase. Did you see my post? I wrote it for the moments when words are the only bridge between two souls. That post holds the echoes of my late-night thoughts, the ones I never dared share, except through writing. I wrote that post because sometimes feelings are too big to carry silently. They have to be released. My post was meant to be a message in a bottle, cast into the ocean of your mind, hoping it reaches shore. Did you read my post and feel a chill? That's because it was made to touch your soul, no matter how far we've drifted. I wrote that post for the times we couldn't talk, for the moments where silence spoke louder than words. That post was my way of telling you that even when we're apart, you're still the story I can't stop telling. I wrote my post, hoping you'd see the layers beneath my smile, the untold stories hidden in plain sight. Did you see my post? It's a map of my heart, drawn with the hope you'll navigate back to me someday. Every sentence in that post is a fragment of my truth, carefully placed, waiting for you to piece it together. I wrote that post, not for sympathy, but for understanding, the kind that only you can give. That post was a whisper to the past, a conversation with the memories that still linger. Did you read my post? It was my way of reaching out, when words failed me, face to face. I wrote that post because sometimes the internet becomes the safest place to show your real self. My post was a canvas for my emotions. Messy, complicated, but undeniably honest. Did you see my post? I wrote it hoping you'd recognize yourself in the story I told. That post was my attempt to say, I'm here, without the fear of rejection hanging over my words. I wrote that post for the nights I felt invisible, hoping you'd finally see me through my words. Did you read my post? It was my heart's way of breaking free, piece by piece. I wrote that post with the hope that even if we don't talk, you'd still know what I'm feeling. That post was my way of holding on to the connection we once had, even if it feels fragile now. Did you see my post? I wrote it with the hope that one day you'd understand the depth of my silence. I wrote that post because sometimes the hardest conversations happen through the written word. My post was a gift wrapped in vulnerability, meant for you alone. Did you read my post? It was a beacon in the darkness, signaling that I'm still here, waiting. I wrote that post to remind you that even when we're worlds apart, you live in my thoughts. That post was my attempt to capture feelings that words could barely contain. Did you see my post? I wrote it because I needed you to know I never stopped caring. I wrote that post for the moments when love feels complicated and words are the only comfort.